Hey, hey, hey. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. Listen, I am so glad y'all here. Whenever something would go wrong and I worked inside an organization, we would pull everybody in a room, figure out who was responsible, who did this. And then a group of people, a team would be put together to do an after action review to unpack it all to see what happened, what went wrong. Then they would be charged with creating an SOP, a standard operating procedure, a list of steps that you have to go through to keep this thing from happening again. And forever, everyone will remember that one time, right, that things went wrong. But my question is, when things go right, what do we do? It's like there's an expectation that things go right. So when things go right, it's like if anybody even acknowledges it, if they say anything at all, it's here's an ice cream party, or here's a koozie, or here's a sticker, or $5 Starbucks gift cards. Shelly Jadaborg, if you're listening, that joke is for you. But what if when things went right, we said, who's responsible? What if we put a team together to study what went right? What if you pulled that team together in a room to do an after action review to say, here are the steps, the standard operating procedure that we want to go through to make sure that we can recreate this and have it happen again. Because we put so much energy in failure, because we study it, because we make people fearful about being the one who's responsible. You see, when we say we want to hold people accountable, what we really saying is, who can we blame? But the people who really understand accountability are the ones who understand that it's not helpful to look for somebody to blame. What is helpful is to look for the person who can fix the problem, who can keep the good stuff happening. Because what we create when people feel like they can't make mistakes, or if doing good gonna get you nothing, but doing bad is gonna get you all the attention, what you create is what my grandma would call no backbone having jellyfish. People who are afraid and lack the courage to be able to move forward. That's what you get. That's what you get. And so all I'm suggesting here is for those of you who lead people in any way, if your tendency is to only talk to people when things are going wrong, when the project is late, when you don't have what you need, when you need to check on status or something, but you don't ever talk to them when things are going right, you know those people you got on your team. They come to work, they do what they're supposed to do, no harm, no foul. They don't want to talk to you, you don't want to talk to them. And so you don't. If you are not having your standard one-on-one conversations, and this can be used personally and professionally, if all you do is talk to people when something has gone wrong, what they learn is that's the only time you talk to them. And so they start to realize that it's no benefit for them to go outside the box, to try something new, better, different. Why? For what? Why take the risk of messing up? People want to say, oh, fail forward, fail fast. Yeah, yeah. Not in my experience. What I'm watching in real time is you mess up, we're going to study that. We're going to put that team together. But when things go well, there ain't no culture of celebration. I sat through a meeting yesterday. This last point, sat through a meeting yesterday, all about how we punish, what we do to ensure that there are consequences. But I am emphatic about this belief that celebration is a strategy for creating the environment you want. You know, tomorrow is the 4th of July, and it is a complicated holiday for many people. I am a U.S. citizen. It is 250 years that this country has been in existence. Many of the symbols that we use to showcase who we are include the bald eagle, the American flag. These are symbols for me being a U.S. citizen. Because I happen to be Black and because I happen to be female in this country, I have not been able to fully realize by law, by law, all that that citizenship affords me. Those two demographic points determine how long I live, whether I die in childbirth or not, what my wealth category is going to look like, where I'm likely to live, all kinds of things. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes, but the exceptions prove the rule. Tomorrow, I am going to celebrate, and I am celebrating because what we study matters. Yes, to live here and to love her is to sometimes be frustrated, to recognize what is wrong, but also, but also, why do I stay? Why do I bother to bring up the critical points? You see, because the other side of love is not hatefulness. Criticism is not hatefulness. Criticism is not dangerous. It is helping us to get better. And I'm talking to me just as much as I'm talking to you. What we should be worried about is dangerous indifference. The person who don't care enough to criticize. The person who don't care enough to engage. The person don't care enough to be bothered. I've had that situation, personally and professionally. At least there's some energy behind hate. You don't know how bad it is when somebody don't even care enough to hate. Indifferent. You a non-factor. Dangerous. I wrote a book about it called Dangerous Indifference. And so I want you to think about the 10 to 12 people you work with every day, the 10 to 12 people you say you love in your life. Have you started to look like you indifferent? Do you not talk to the people until there's a problem? Because Margaret Heffernan said that life is not about the bricks, it's about the mortar between them. The things that connect us. And it ain't like you can have one big conversation and coast a while, as David White, the poet, said. Life is a series of conversation. You got to grapple. You got to get in there. And I don't like it either. I want to coast. I want to I want to coast. I want things to be easy, simple. You should just understand me. But if you leading teams and you taking this approach, I'm telling you, you're leaking. Your efficiency is suffering. Your team ain't high performing. There's lots of dysfunction. Because what we study matters. And if you look at anything and only see what is wrong with it, if you talk to folk and all you do is talk to them when there's something wrong, and you don't have the mortar between the bricks, the whole structure gonna fall. Whole structure gonna fall. And so I invite you, regardless of if you celebrate tomorrow or not, this is not a judgment. This is just an invitation to you to say, let's look at our entire life. Let's look at all our relationships, our personal relationships, our romantic lives with our children. Let's look at our relationships in our neighborhoods, in our workplaces, and let's look at our relationships institutionally, because these institutions don't uphold themselves. We build them because we are everyday people, not practicing and building our muscle around studying what is working and studying what is not working. You swing this pendulum too far either way, you ain't gonna get the results you want, sugar. One of my favorite poets is Langston Hughes. And he said, I too sing America. And so I am not allowing anybody else to own her symbols. I'm not allowing anybody else to own her symbols. Thank you, Katina, for reminding me that today is Crown Day, child. I gotta take these braids out. My cousin braided my hair, and I thought it was so cute. But it is, it has, yeah. It's been 2 weeks. It's time for it to come down, and I'm about to take this afro out and wear my crown. And I got room to celebrate all of it. There's 7 strategies for high performing teams as I see it. But today I want to elevate celebration, because celebration, celebration, celebration. When they say joy is resistance, when they say joy is resistance, what I need you to know is that our ancestors knew something. They knew something. They knew something. Stop acting like you got here and you know better. That nobody before knew better than you. I was at an event last week in Detroit, and the Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III said, there's a different kind of intelligence that we don't give enough credence to. And that intelligence is ancestral intelligence, AI. And I'm telling you that there are people who have been in much worse situations than you are right now. And those people would be honest and real about what is happening today, and optimistic and hopeful about what could happen tomorrow. And they believe that they control the destiny, that they could do something about it. And they knew that if you lose hope in the idea of what you want, it all falls apart. So you take a look at what you study, whether that's people, whether that's your relationships, whether that's the institutions, and just see if you got some balance there. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. We got work to do.